But you think about the things that most businesses want that are larger is number one, above all other things, growth. What can help you achieve growth? What can help you achieve growth? And I'm going to make the pen a hair smaller so that I can get all this in. The number one thing would be acquiring market share. So if you can get more market share, then that's an easy way to get growth. Another thing would be if you could get more leads. Another one would be if you can add infrastructure, which would allow you to scale. And infrastructure is, it turns out, a very long word. If you could add infrastructure, which will allow you to scale. The other thing would be to get more revenue from each customer that comes in. That means that you want to increase your lifetime customer value. The next thing would be, how do I actually get to keep more of what I make? Because a lot of business owners suffer from this profit creep as they grow, meaning that profit, I guess it would be expense creep. Profit creeps down. As you get more and more money, ironically, very often business owners make less. I think everybody here has probably experienced that. As you grow, you tend to put your money back in, and so you get to actually take out less as you're growing. So another thing that's really important is, how can you increase margin? And then last but not least is, how do you keep innovating and adapting on a rapid enough scale to address all the changes that are going on? So how are you change ready? The way that you get change ready is through innovation, right? So if you think about these 6 things, they kind of tick through. There's 11 things that are listed on this, it says 11 right here, right? That are listed here. And if you think about it, these 6 things can really solve a lot of that. If you think about how can I deal with IT and improve that, that's pretty easily done through infrastructure, right? Through infrastructure. I'm going to just say INF for infrastructure, so I don't have to write it out. Because as you get infrastructure in, your technological ability advances. If you're looking at structure, same thing. That's going to be infrastructure as well. If you look at financial, that's going to be our, that's going to be our LCV and margin. How do we make more, right? And then you get into workforce. That is, again, infrastructure. How do we get more and better customers? That's going to come through LCV. It's also going to be margin, because we want customers that make money. So the 2 things that we want with finances, it's also going to be getting more of them is going to come from market share. And then we go down to cost management. Cost management goes back to infrastructure, because our infrastructure includes teams, individual people, and systems. And then we look at same thing with experience and productivity. That goes back to infrastructure. Innovation is direct. That's its own category, right? And then risk management goes again to your systems in your infrastructure. So when you think about each of these things, it's like, okay, well, market share, leads, infrastructure, LCV, lifetime customer value, margin, innovation. And I redid the wheel based around these things. And it's interesting because each of the things on the wheel helps solve one or more of these challenges, but primarily one. And so I've put in the middle now competitors. And so you can see we've got competitors. If you can acquire your competitors, you can increase your market share. So we should be thinking about, what are the different types of competitors that we've got? And on the next slide, I'll show you these things. Then we've always talked about media driving more leads. And infrastructure, if our need is infrastructure, then we need teams and systems. If we want a higher lifetime customer value, then we should add products and services. So I consolidated products and services, which used to be on the right side there, and I moved the supply and distribution chain over there. So basically, the two things that are primarily affecting finance are here and here. Margin for supply and distribution chain, because as you consolidate supply and distribution chain, you make more money. And then for innovation and adaptability, I moved IP here into the middle bottom. And then I added one, which is for capital, because capital is always a constraint that businesses talk about. And they're always, I need money. And that's why we got our profiles changed in the challenge way back when, to say that we're investors, because that's what people think they need. What they really want are all of these things, but they think money or capital will lead them to the resources that will enable them to have these things. So I added capital. And how do you get capital? Well, you can get a lot more capital if you have a higher valuation. How do you get a higher valuation? You add monthly or annual recurring revenue. So I should probably put a little A over here with a slash, but either annual or monthly recurring revenue. So here's what's cool. If you want to be consultative when you're talking with somebody about like the future vision of the company, whether you're talking about with an investor or a company owner who you're trying to convince to have you come in to be a consultant to earn into equity as a form of acquisition, or to simply acquire the company and have them have a carried interest of 20, 30, 40%, 10, 20, 30, 40%, right? This can be a great way to do it. So you talk about, well, what are the biggest challenges that you've got? And you can go through that first graphic from Gartner and see what things are most important to them. And then you can say, the truth is that all of those things can be taken care of through these 7 primary solutions.